there's a way for you to be able to dissect the job description. And these are the steps. The first one is to analyze the key responsibilities. And by saying that, what I mean is you identify recurring themes to understand the core focus of the role. At the end of the day, what you want to ask yourself when you read the job description is, what exactly is this role going to be responsible for? Is it going to be generating clients? Is it going to be marketing by means of social media? Is it going to be analyzing performance? Right? What exactly would the core function of the role be? That's important for you to understand, because it's only by understanding that that you get to align what you're going to present and what you're going to communicate when you're in an interview, so that those things actually make sense to the interviewer, those things resonate to the interviewer, and those things count as things that could help you get that internship. So for example, business development specialist. Have you heard of the term, that role, business development specialist? Not yet. So basically, business development specialist, for example, is someone who would have to generate leads. And by generating leads, we mean being able to identify particular individuals or maybe businesses that would be interested in buying from them, whether it's a product or a service. And then being able to contact those individuals, whether it's through calling them or reaching out to them via email or other means. And then after that, being able to set appointments, right? Being able to have a in-depth conversation with them so that you would be able to identify what their problem points are, and you'd be able to assess whether or not your product or your service actually addresses that problem or the need that they have. That's a business development specialist. Basically, they're looking for in sales what we call a hunter, because they need to hunt. They need to hunt for clients who would be paying, clients who would be buying from them, and clients who would be adding up to that revenue. But on the other side, sometimes there's also what we call account management specialists. Account management specialists are farmers, meaning the client is already there. The client has already been generated, but the main function or the main focus is to be able to sustain the relationships. How? By understanding exactly what the how the service is being delivered. So, for example, if there's already a service being delivered, are they experiencing any problems? Could we improve the service further so that we can get the trust, for example, of that client, so that they don't switch to a competitor or maybe to a substitute? Are there other ways for us to be able to get more business from that client? That's a farmer, right? That's an account management specialist. It differs from a hunter, which is someone who would focus on getting clients, right? So there's a difference. And that's what you would see in job descriptions also, by identifying recurring themes. And then after that, studying the skills required for the role, technical skills and soft skills. Do you know the difference between technical skills and soft skills? Yeah? So you have an idea, right? Technical skills would be hard skills that are related to you being able to deliver the role. Things, for example, being able to use a particular software, or being able, for instance, to ideate and execute campaigns, being able to measure performance, being able to calibrate performance. And then soft skills would be your communication skills, your teamwork, your persistence, your resilience, etc. And then you try to identify the role success metrics. So earlier I said, okay, you try to identify what's the core function. The next one after that is to identify how would your success be measured. At the end of the day, when you finish your shift, how would you be able to tell whether or not you were able to do your job, and if you were able to do your job well, right? So there would always be success metrics. We call these key performance indicators, key results areas, etc. in an organization. So for example, if you're that salesperson, business development specialist trying to hunt for clients, what's your success metrics? Would it be to be able to generate an X number of leads on a daily basis? Is it to be able to call an X number of contacts on a daily or a weekly basis? Is it to be able to set appointments? Maybe like 5 to 10 appointments in a week. That's how you're able to identify how your day would look like and how your success would be determined. And of course, for you guys, whether or not that's something that you'd like to begin with, right? And then the last one is to spot clues about company culture. Now, you have to pay attention to descriptors that indicate the work environment. Like some organizations would say that they're lean, flexible, fast-paced, etc. But I'd push this. I'd say some job descriptions aren't actually accurate. Some job descriptions, particularly when it pertain to company culture, are actually sugar-coated or are fluffed. So at the end of the day, the best source of identifying company culture is, number one, if you have people who know, who are working for that company, you get to ask them directly and you get to understand their experience of that organization. And then the next one would be through the platforms that we've mentioned earlier, right? Glassdoor, Google reviews, Reddit, Quora, or other platforms for that matter, where conversations happen in an unfiltered way about particular organizations. But of course, I don't want you to swallow that as the whole truth because other people's experience may not be your own experience. So I would still suggest go for it and then explore how the conversation would look like. Ask a question and see how they respond the question so that you get to determine for yourself whether it's an organization and an internship worth taking. Right? So yes, whilst you'll have influence of other people, I would always go for being able to determine for yourself and using your own agency to make that decision.